So I'm probably going to go take a nap because my head hurts, though not related to what I'm about to discuss, but it's still, my head is like, why? Why are people? Um, Before I dive into that though, I want to talk about how hilarious some people are being on Threads because Stray Kids, the official Stray Kids account is now on Threads. It there are some people who are like, I lurk. I don't interact with very many in the fandom itself, just because I just don't for a lot of the fandoms. I've talked about it in the past, but it's just I just kind of lurk on the edges. Um, and sometimes if people pass like a vibe check, I'm like, okay, cool. I'll talk to you. Um, anyway, but there are so many posts, so many where people are like, "Oh no, you gotta sanitize your pages. You gotta do this. You gotta." Oh no, they're watching. I'm just like, the official account is now on there, but they have their own personal accounts, and I'm not saying that they officially have like shadow accounts. But I'm saying there is that possibility that they have shadow accounts for Threads. So there's a possibility they've already seen all your stuff. And that being said, they lurk online all the time for like TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff that you're all of a sudden like, I swear that some people are just saying it out of like just fun, like they're just being goofballs. They're like, oh no, let's do this. Like they're not being serious. But there are some people where their tone, at least it looked like I don't know. Sometimes I don't understand tone, especially online. But from their tone, it looked like they were very serious. I was like, you do know they lurk online, right? They see so much already. So I don't know what you're gonna hide that they haven't already seen. Um, but that being said, the thing that I want to talk about, and honestly, I truly believe that these people that are trying to do this whole sensationalism thing, they're not actual fans. They're just trying to rage bait. They're just trying to cause issues. So that is how I'm seeing some of the people that are making certain comments. Um, Apparently, it's on Twitter. It's always Twitter, isn't it? It's always Twitter. But like I went on YouTube because I was watching some stuff from Kickflip because one or two of their songs I dropped, and so I was like, oh cool, and so started like Freeze, I think it was Freeze, dropped, and so I was like, oh, this is cool, and so like I was adding that to a playlist, and of course I am okay. I'm watching this video. Oh, look, there's another video. Oh, look, like this is literally how I discover music. This is literally how I add things to playlists and why I'm behind on adding certain things to playlists because there are certain artists that I have been into for years and have not added a single song to a playlist. I get distracted easily, okay? I see a song and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's another one. Oh, yeah." So, anyway, just describing my mentality and how it came across, which seems very tabloid-esque, the video. Like, I don't follow this account, but basically there was something talking about the recent thing with Felix, with his back and stuff, which, mind you, I'm gonna tell you right now that, yes, I'm not a doctor, and so any of these opinions are from myself. This is from me as, like, a chronic condition person who also happens to have a bad back, but also having constant pain or going through constant things for long periods of time and having to get help for it and stuff. Like just me in general as that kind of person. When I saw the announcement where they're talking about, working with him or working with professionals and everything, I commented on Threads about it too. To someone who was just like, "Oh my gosh, like people leave it alone," because there were some people um that were upsetting a fellow stay that I interact with. Like vibes are good with us. Um, but she was upset, and I don't blame her because there are people who are kind of really like ugh about some other thing. But then she posted about how relieved she was when it came to this announcement for Felix and his back. And I was relieved. I was so happy. I was just like, oh my gosh. So I actually feel like, I actually feel like a great sense of relief, not just relief, but just like I'm very happy that that announcement was made, because it makes me feel like they're actually taking care of him. Um, because that's the thing too, is that there's so many people, and honestly, this is very ableist whenever someone says this. So if you catch yourself saying this kind of stuff, don't just stop. Just stop. It's very ableist to say just rest or just do this or just do that. Because whether it's a chronic condition or not, if it's a disability, whatever it is, just resting is not going to cut it for a lot of people. For me, for example, my shoulder, the best thing for it is movement. I can't just rest it, because guess what? That's frozen shoulder. I had been dealing with that for over 9 years in constant pain. So when I finally was able to go through the VA and get physical therapy, actually they unfroze it. And yeah, it hurt like a bitch. It really hurt. And yeah, I do not like the burn when I'm doing my strength training, but now I have my mobility back. Now I can actually move my shoulder, but I'm going to have to constantly move it. I'm going to constantly have to condition it. And I may never get back to the strength I had for capoeira when I was in community college. I may never get that back for a variety of reasons, because I also have a bad knee, not just a bad back and the shoulder. But either way, it's a goal of mine to condition and strengthen this arm that has been frozen for so long. Like, the best solution for the shoulder is to move it. It's not to just rest it. Like, yes, I have to give it a rest, like a day or two out of the week, but I'm doing that with the advice of the physical therapist that I'm seeing. I'm working with them. I'm working with the VA and that doctor. Like, I am in communication with the people who want what's best for my shoulder. That's the same thing that's happening with Felix. Like, he loves what he's doing. He enjoys dancing. He enjoys performing. He has shown that and he's said that. But yeah, if there's a chronic condition, you're going to have some limitations. And so like, there are people saying like, oh, just rest. That's not going to cut it. Not for him. Like, it is different per person. Whatever condition they have, disability, whatever, it is different per person. So trying to say just rest or trying to say just do this or just take that or whatever, not going to cut it. The same thing with my endometriosis. I finally found a solution. Well, it's not a solution. You can't cure endometriosis, but having to be in pain constantly since age 12, and only recently in the past year and a half, I finally found something that can alleviate that pain. It's a certain type of birth control. And there are many different kinds of birth controls. Like, I don't need birth control. I got my tubes tied when my youngest was born, because that's a whole nother story. Like, I would have had complications if I tried to get pregnant again. So I was like, well, I'm just not going to risk it ever, whether I'd want kids in the future or not. But so I don't need birth control for that reason. And I actually had to inform my dad of that, because he was asking me how I was doing. And I was talking about my endometriosis, and he wasn't very savvy on it. And so I mentioned like, oh yeah, I'm back on the birth control again. I, talked to the doctor or whatever. And so I'm feeling a little bit better. And he's like, birth control, but you can't have kids anymore. And I was like, that's not the only thing that birth control is for. So, but that type of birth control that I'm having, like that I'm using, that I have, that works for me, but it may not work for someone else with the same kind of condition for endometriosis. And there are so many people who have multiple conditions where a solution for one could exacerbate another condition that they have. So it is not okay to simply say, just do this, just do that, as if that's going to solve the thing. And also, there are people who will make suggestions constantly, not just related to this, but this is kind of a lesson for people just in general. Like, if you don't have chronic conditions, if you're not disabled in any way, whether it's physical or mental or anything, please take a moment to consider that suggesting that someone go to so and so or try this or whatever, that's kind of messed up, because not everyone is on the same level and has the same access or privilege of access to a support system or certain medications, or so it's making a broad generalized sweep of that is not okay, and it's going to upset a lot of people too if you do that, because we know what works best for us. Okay. So back to the whole Felix thing. Like, I was very happy to see that announcement because it's taking into consideration what he wants to do, while also understanding that yes, there is a condition and he needs to be, looked at. He's got a support system. He has, doctors he can go to. He's working with people to make sure that he limits his movement. And honestly, this video that I saw on YouTube that, seemed very tabloidish, it talked about how there was some sort of backlash or something. Like, oh, it didn't look very limited. Oh, they're showing favoritism. And I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. It's I don't think a majority of people are saying that. I think it's like a very few, and someone is just blowing out of proportion. Um, oh goodness, sorry. Oh, sorry. Um, I think that someone was trying to make it sensationalized, and uh, and like so, it's not like a whole bunch of people are saying that, but I really think that simply saying that, not just because it's going to be misinformation, um, but saying that kind of stuff indicates that there's something wrong with what was announced, or there's something wrong with the choices that Felix made or that the company made, and that irritates me. It irritates me that there are people, and honestly, people are saying the same shit when it came to Bang Chan, when they're just like talking back about the companies, just like maybe it's my choice, maybe it's not the company's. It's Felix's choice to dance. It's Felix's choice to interact with fans and be on stage, and he loves doing that. He has expressed that many times. They all have. Um, but he has some limitations. Now, whether it looked like he has a limitation or not, how do you really, are you them? Are you the one dancing on stage? They could turn a move into something that makes it look like it's not limited. There are optics involved. And there's also the fact that maybe the group themselves modified to make it look more seamless. You don't know. They are doing their thing, and they still performed really well. I mean, like, I wasn't in Seattle. That's the complete opposite end of the coast where I'm at. Um, but of course I saw clips, and I like follow some people that were interacting with or were there. There's like a YouTube content creator that was there, and so they were like talking about some of the stuff that happened and sharing clips. So it's like, but it looks like they all enjoy themselves. It looked like they did a lot. And of course they always bring their A game. But it's just the fact that this video was talking about how there's some sort of backlash or whatever. And honestly, I'm boiling it down to the type of people that are saying that kind of stuff, they're not actual fans. They aren't. You've got a lot of antis, which honestly, if you're an anti for one K-pop group or idol versus another, you're actually against the entire industry. You're actually against the one that you say that is your bias. Because if you're an anti of so and so, you're technically an anti of everyone. I mean, like, because if you're gonna like shit on one of them, you're shitting on all of them. You're being awful to all of them because they all want each other to succeed, which is the kind of mentality that they've kind of shown in the past. A lot of K-pop groups and idols from different companies even show support for each other. Like it, like I don't understand the mentality of anti. They're antithetical to themselves, really. But either way, you got people who are like that. You got people who are trolls who don't even care about the idol, the fans, none of that. They're just trying to stir up trouble. You have a lot of people doing that kind of stuff. And it is definitely frustrating, annoying. And really, it's people like that. I mean, honestly, I just block. I just block. I let people know, hey, they're causing trouble the same way I do for any of the MAGA cult people, okay? Like the stuff going on in America, anyone who is pro whatever is happening in this country right now, block and let people know, hey, they're being racist, they're being misogynistic, they're whatever. I will screenshot, I will take receipts, and I'll be like, hey, let's not do that. It's the same concept with these people that come into K-pop spaces and try to do that shit, and they just try to cause trouble. They're not actually fans. So honestly, if anyone's going to report or write an article about those kind of people and about backlash from fans, they're not fans. They're really not. These are small groups of people causing trouble to cause trouble. They have malicious intent, okay? It's not the majority. But that being said, I'm still going to call out bad behavior within any fandom, because if there's problematic behavior, um it's maybe they are a fan, but they're also, that doesn't mean that they can't be problematic. Doesn't mean that they can't cause issues. So I'm still going to call people out. I'm still going to be like, hey, this is not okay. And it's not, I have to specifically say, it's not infighting if I'm calling out bad behavior. If they happen to be a fan, they happen to be a fan. But if it's bad behavior, I'm going to call it out. I'm going to say, this is not okay. Let's not do that. I am not a pacifist like some of the other people in certain fandoms. I am not. I am very much a morally great person. I am a bit more brutish in my methodology with this. I am trying to be more considerate in my wording and my approach, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop calling people out. This specifically, I'm stating though, that I really don't believe these are fans. I really don't believe those videos, like they're just trying to cause trouble. They really are. But I feel that there could be people within the fandoms that could be gullible enough to believe that is real, or believe that, there is severe backlash somewhere. And it's really a lot of it. Anytime I see the screenshots, it's Twitter. It's almost always Twitter. It really is. And some of the screenshots are people who, like, the screenshots of the posts or the comments are being made that are the backlash. It's people that this person, whoever they are behind that account that screenshotted it, all those people are blocked. Like, they blocked all, like, they basically screenshotted everything and block. Like, there's a little block thing, and I'm just like, okay, so you're using their examples and then trying to do some sort of sensationalized, like, playing it off as news, but really it's just a bunch of really awful people just bitching online, trying to cause trouble for a fandom, and you're kind of amplifying that. So that's not okay. Um, the account is called Solomon News, by the way. Like, I really, it's very tabloidish, but like in the worst kind of way. Like, not in the like, haha, like that's really real kind of thing. No, it's very like, it really feels like they're amplifying all those awful voices, and that's not okay. So I urge people to not only be considerate and not make the kind of comments I mentioned before when it came to like chronic conditions, or, being ableist in that way, but also consider that a lot of that stuff is rage bait. It's not real. It's not the whole fandom. And now, again, there can be people within a fandom that are problematic, and calling them out and be like, this is not okay behavior. That's what I'm going to do. And there are going to be people who do that. So it's not me fighting with someone. It's me calling someone's problematic behavior out and be like, hey, this is not okay. Um, and it's not simply just like against the idols. I'm talking about like how they treat other people within a fandom, or how they treat other people in general. You can be a fan of something, for example, and still be a racist. Like, there are some people that I blocked that say, "Oh, I'm really big into K-pop. I'm really good at this," but they were like super racist. They're like white people, but still, they were super racist. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to have anything to do with you. That's not okay. I hope other people blocked them, because I definitely did. But it's just that there are so many people who I think see something and they're like, oh no, what's going on? So I don't see intense backlash, not on Threads. I'm not on Twitter, of course. I haven't been on there for a while. I deleted my account forever ago, but, well, not forever ago, but because I was like, okay, I'm going to delete it, and then I totally forgot about it because I'm never on there. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to delete this, like, because I was never on there. Because I went private like last year. And then I just forgot about it. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to delete this. Then I forgot about it. Now I have deleted it. It's been like a month or two now, I think. But yeah, I'm not seeing any backlash on Threads. I'm not seeing anything on Instagram. Again, I lurk on the fringes. I don't participate most of the time. I look, observe, and see what is happening, what the climate is, how people are talking. For the most part on Threads, there are a lot of supportive people, not just with Stray Kids, but like any of the K-pop groups. There are some folks that were really like really positive with the up and comings, that did their debut recently. Like they're just being supportive all around, and they're just like, yes, I mean, this is the group that I really identify with, and this is my alt or this is my bias, or whatever. But and then they will put in this whole slew of like positive vibes and love and everything for other groups, and so that's what I see mostly on Threads. That's what I see mostly on Instagram too. Um, but again, like you've got those like the select few that are coming in to try to destroy things on purpose. And then you get those kinds of videos from like Solomon News where it's very trashy, very sensational, rage bait kind of stuff. So be careful, be cautious. Definitely pay attention. Don't like if you don't already, I would suggest lurking, like just kind of being on the like by lurking I mean like paying attention, not commenting, not even liking stuff, like just scrolling and looking and observing and absorbing the information, which is what I do. I do that a lot for almost every topic before I comment. And a lot of times I won't comment on something, especially if it's a topic that I have no stake in. Um, like anything to do with racism. If there is a content creator or one of the people I follow that's like a black woman, she's talking about something that's not I I have no need to comment. I'm not going to center myself. Like I may even boost the post that they're talking about, whatever. I'm just there to like give support, I'm there to affirm what they are saying and to take what they're saying, listen to it and comprehend it. And if I don't, do my research. So I urge people to do kind of the same thing when it comes to this, because there are people who are going to have hot takes about a lot of stuff. And there are going to be people who may post things or have a link or whatever. And like, instead of like immediately commenting or immediately jumping on it, take a beat. Like I've had to learn this myself. I've had to learn to take a beat and to not just jump on things. It's very hard because I've been very reactionary in the past. And so in the future, like now and in the future, I'm trying to do better. So that's kind of the habit that I mean, I've had this habit before where I kind of lurk. I observe, I pay attention. If I'm not, very savvy on something, I will look it up. The World Wide Web is there. It is so there for us to use. And so are libraries. Support your local library. So, there are ways that you can learn something. So, just especially with this though, when it comes to people who are saying those kinds of comments like, oh, just rest, just that, not knowing the situation, not knowing what it's like to go through chronic conditions, or suggesting that someone do the kind of solution that they've done for their chronic condition. Like I always urge people to go to their doctor if they're able to. I urge people to talk to someone if they're able to. And I always include if you're able to, because not everyone has the same access to stuff. That is a privilege. That is something that is a luxury, especially in the US. So there are people who are doing that. And it's just this rabbit hole that not really rabbit hole that I went down. It's more like I saw how things kind of linked up, and then that video popped up and I was like, oh my goodness, which I don't subscribe to Solomon News or to any of that kind of stuff. I wanted to see what it said. So I watched it. I was like, okay, yeah, it very much is like a sensationalized rage bait kind of thing. I haven't seen the backlash. That doesn't mean that there aren't some fans who might have some backlash, but from what I've observed so far, it doesn't seem like it's actual fans. It seems like it's just people trying to cause trouble. So I think that's where there's that kind of misconnect or disconnect rather. Miscommunication. So I was trying to like say disconnect and miscommunication at the same time. But there's that disconnect where people think that there's infighting, but it's really more that people may not realize that there are people within some like who have invaded the spaces of and are acting like they're fans, but they're not actually fans. And then there are people who are they're being like super supportive in one way, but then they're like hate filled with another way, like for other groups or idols. And it's like those antis, they're obsessed in a different kind of way, but they're no less dangerous, I think, because they can cause a lot of issues. But yeah, that's it. Definitely seems like that video has a lot of misinformation. Um, talking about backlash and stuff and favoritism. Like it's not favoritism. It's they're actually taking care of Felix. They're actually paying attention, listening, and working with him. And it's I know that there are some people out there who think you shouldn't blindly believe everything. Like, yeah, that's true. But this was like an official statement from them. And the fact that Felix is still getting up and doing stuff, that makes me very happy. It makes me so happy that not only is he getting to do the stuff that he loves, but he's being cared for. He's being supportive. It's not just from the group that's his family. That is his family, other than his blood relatives. Like that is his family. Okay, but it's the fact that the company's taking care of him too. Like they are considering his wishes in this, and not just telling him, "Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that." No, it's they're actually working with him. And I'm granted I don't expect everyone to be a secondhand happiness person like me. Like I literally wish for other people's successes. Like I want people to succeed. I try to tone it down and be mild online. Like you guys have no idea. When I comment like that dress looks great on you. I love your hair. I'm being mild, okay? I will giggle and squeal and I'll be goofy. I'll be such a dork in real life. My kids roll their eyes at me all the time, okay? You have no idea. Like, I really get super excited anytime someone announces something where they're happy. Like, I just love that for them. I'm not expecting other people to be like that. Like, yeah, I'm an introvert. I get my energy drains pretty quickly around other people. And sometimes just by the day itself happening, just existing sometimes is exhausting. But that doesn't mean that I can't be happy and excited for other people. It doesn't mean that I can't have that kind of energy that, like I love that for someone else. So I'm not expecting other people to be exactly like me. Okay. I'm not expecting others to be like a secondhand happiness where they're always happy for other people's successes. I'm not expecting that, but I am expecting someone to consider, someone out there, anyone, please, especially when it comes to this situation, to consider how awesome it is that Felix not only gets to still do what he loves, even with limitations, but the fact that he has that support, the fact that he is being heard and listened to, and they're actually taking that and doing something with it. Not everyone has that. And that's not to judge or bash against like Felix having that when other people don't. Like that's I know someone out there is going to say something like that because I've heard that in the past. And it's very frustrating when people try to twist it. Like, no, I'm glad that he has that support. I'm really happy. And I wish others would consider that this is something he really wants to do. This is something that he loves to do, and he still gets to do it, even if it's a little different than what he did before. Because let's be honest, let's let's really be honest. All of them are super young, okay? Like I don't know what kind of medieval mindset a lot of people have, but so many people are just talking about like, oh, so many people are so much older. I'm just like, bitch, I'm 39 and I'm really young, okay? Have you 90 something is a bit old, okay? Because the life expectancy has elevated greatly over the last few hundred years, last couple thousand at least, there's is elevated a great deal. Okay? modern technology and information, education, all that kind of stuff has helped towards that end. But still, it's like they're all really young, but they're doing immense physical, like, there's a lot of physical strain on their bodies, the kinds of stuff that they pull off, and then doing that for hours. That's a lot. And that's just one night they're doing for hours. And there's all the prep involved. There's a lot that goes into logistics, people. It's all about logistics. It's all about supply and like logistics, and just there's so much involved in the movement of things. And that takes a lot of energy, and that takes a lot of stress on the body. So working out isn't simply to look good for y'all, okay? Working out would also be to keep their stamina up, to keep their strength up if they're going to perform as they have been, because that's a lot. There are plenty of athletes you've seen that are pretty damn young, but they have the injury, or they have like something else happen, or just constant strain for years. It's going to wear the body down. It doesn't matter how young you are. They all are really young, though. They're in their 20s. That is super young, okay? Like, it irritates me how, like, I may joke with my own age and being like an old woman or whatever. Like, I joke about myself. Okay. I can make fun of myself, but you'll never hear me call anyone in their 20s old. Anyone, just, it's ridiculous the way that people are acting. Like, do you not know? Do you not pay attention to what they do all the time? Like, it takes a lot. It takes its toll on the body. So, I would have been shocked if none of them had an injury at all, or any kind of condition whatsoever. I would have been shocked because of how much they go through, and how much they train for that stuff. So it was bound to happen at some point in some way, no matter what. It's just, please take into consideration that they have the resources, they have the tools, they're being cared for. And especially with this stuff happening with Felix, he's being cared for. So, like, again, not asking people to be like a secondhand happiness or whatever kind of person like I am, but just if you can please just be supportive of that. Just be supportive of the fact that he has support. He has someone helping him. He has someone to look out for him. And I'm talking about the medical side, not just like the members are going to look out for him too. They're going to pay attention and help him too. They are there for him. So it would be nice to see that kind of support. So in light of those kind, like that kind of video, and people trying to stir up trouble, definitely if you see something like that, call it out. But try not to fall for that. They're trying to rage bait you. They're trying to make you think there's this great big backlash. There's this great, you know, amount of stuff happening. Sorry. Ugh. My head does hurt. Like, I'm pushing through it because I really want to get this out before I forget. Because if I take a nap now, I'm going to forget all the things I want to say. But I'm like, it's been pressing me, so I need to do it. Um, but yeah, it's definitely just try to be cognizant of what's going on. Just try to be aware, and move accordingly with this stuff. But really, I don't see a backlash like that. Not on Threads, not on Instagram. I didn't see anything like that online in general. Does that mean it doesn't exist? No, I'm not all knowing. I don't see everything. But so far from what's been posted, like especially in that video, it looks like it's mostly Twitter. It looks like it's mostly, and people have been saying forever how much a cesspool Twitter is. But because there's a lot of racism, there's a lot of MAGA over there, like the MAGA cult, and a lot of like super ultra like Christo-fascist people, and like ultra religious like people who just hate anyone existing pretty much other than them. It's pretty bad over there. So I'm not surprised anything like that would pop up for there, but just be careful. Okay, just don't believe that kind of stuff right off the bat, like thinking that like, oh no, this is happening, or oh no, what's going on. Just pay attention to what the company is saying, pay attention to what the member is saying. And Don't jump to conclusions. Please don't. Please don't. I'm going off of the information given to me by the company and recognizing patterns from the past and knowing as a chronic condition person that not everything is fit one fit all or anything. Not it's not one size fits all for this kind of stuff, for any kind of solution or anything like that. So it's I am basis off of information been given, my experience, and then also learning as I go how to approach this kind of stuff. But like it's I'm also kind of tired of people taking something and then blowing it out of proportion. Just like that video. The video is very, as I said, like trashy tabloid, like not in a like goofy haha kind of way, like in a very bad way, like very dangerous way. And that happened with Bang Chan, like people taking something and blowing it out of proportion. Again, I don't think they're actual fans. I think the people doing that are trying to cause trouble on purpose. Because I don't think any actual fan, any actual stay is going to say that kind of stuff or even start a kind of petition like that. Like I I don't know. Maybe it's because even though we don't know these men personally, we're not, in their spaces or anything. Like we are able to see what they give us on like film. But from what we can deduce on what we're shown, it seems pretty logical to determine that, hey, Bane Chan's talked about this before. And it, like stepping away or as usual, very busy. So he may not be on screen because he's actually doing stuff. All this content that you're enjoying, like uh all the members are included in this, but also the company, also the manager, also like there's so many moving parts. People are busy and he is especially busy all the time. Like if there's not screen time, there's going to be a reason. And then he himself just said too that maybe he doesn't want to. And I did not like seeing that message where he said, maybe I'll push myself to do it because that's what you want. No, I really don't. If I don't see a lot of his content because he doesn't want to be seen, I will be happy with that. I really will because I want him to do what's best for him just as a person. But I really think that people saying that kind of stuff aren't fans. They don't have his best interest at heart. They don't have any of the members' best interests at heart. They are very selfish. The mindset, the mentality shown in any of the screenshot stuff, which again, Twitter, seems very self-centered, very selfish, very like robotic. It did not seem like it came from an actual person. But if it did come from an actual person or other people, it felt like it came from people who do not see these idols as human beings, and they're taking something and blowing it way out of proportion. And not just that, but they're centering themselves, acting like he owes them something, acting like any of the members owe them something. And they don't. They really don't. I think like real fans are not going to act like that. They're not going to be that way. They're not going to demand things like that. They're just happy that they get to exist alongside these men and enjoy their content, and they're going to be supportive of them. And in return, yes, they're supportive of their fans. But again, I don't think the people kind of doing that stuff, like doing that kind of stuff, the petition or any of that kind of stuff, like just they're not fans. They're causing trouble on purpose. Like actual state doesn't believe that. But you get these people invading spaces and trying to cause issues. And then you got people who may have been fans before, but then they kind of jump on that bandwagon. So not okay. And I'll call those people out too. But it's just from what I've seen, the kind of wording from any of the screenshots I've seen, again from Twitter, it it is very much aligned with a lot of the hate that I see in the MAGA cult. It really is. I used this term recently to talk about the Seattle article because it's complete dribble. It's complete BS. Like they did no research. Like they're just as bad as Fox News pretty much on a good day. So I mean that should tell you something. But no research, no, like basically they're pretty much insulting not just like stray kids in the fandom, but the music industry, like K-pop industry itself. Like it was just galmacious. Galmacious. It's basically useless, unintelligible. Um, just it's just drivel. It's just baseless drivel, is what it is. Like I called it galmacious drivel for the Seattle article. And that's what I see when I look at any of those kinds of comments that are posted when it comes to the whole petition thing for Bang Chan and the so-called backlash for Felix. That's what I see. I just see nonsensical BS being pushed and made into rage bait and attacking people who call them out and say this is not okay. Um, I've actually seen a lot of positive support and reinforcement on threads where people were talking about this. They were talking about their support and being angry with the way that the Isles have been treated. And no, we're not going to accept that kind of stuff in our community. Like, yeah, as I said, there are people who are a bit more pacifist that are just like, oh, I'll just look the other way, kind of thing. No, I'm going to call people out. I'm going to be very awful about it too. In some cases, again, I'm trying to choose my wording better, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be blunt. I'm not going to go after them because I'm not a kind person. I am morally gray. There's a reason that I really, really like Deadpool, and I think people forget his actual character, the way he really is. Deadpool would not have stood for any of this BS. There are a lot of things on this planet he would not have stood for. He may be chaotic and people like think he's hilarious and goofy or whatever. And yeah, he's been, yeah, definitely morally gray. Um, but he actually really cares. There is a depth to him, and he would not have stood for this kind of behavior. So I very much align with that. He's like my spirit guide, okay? So I may not be as peaceful when I bluntly talk about this kind of stuff to others, but um there I definitely encourage people and have agreed on threads that hey, definitely block, definitely call people out, but block, restrict, protect your peace. But there have been a lot of people speaking up on threads. And me lurking on the edges, I've seen a lot of people speaking up on threads and being like, this is not okay behavior. We support the group. We support these men and what they're doing. And if, for example, Bang Chan decided not to be on screen as much, we would be just as happy because it means that he's protecting his peace. It means that he's looking out for himself the way that we want him to. Like actual fans care about his well-being. Actual fans care about all of their well-being. Um, but you got these people invading these spaces or people who get caught up in that kind of mentality that the malicious, assholes are bringing to the table. So people who may have been fans before that I don't consider them fans now if they're going to follow that kind of stuff. I don't. That's personally me, but I really feel like I should not be the only one that says that and sees something and is like, nope, that's not cool. That, I don't consider these people fans. I don't consider them like you don't have to blindly follow anyone, but just the way that they're talking, their mentality, how they attack online, like that's not what the community is about. And unfortunately, I saw this happen with Army. I That's why I was reluctant to get into like a teeny and stay, like as far as like the fandom and interacting with people within the fandom. And I wanted to stay on the edges because I had to deal with that kind of stuff with Army, and there are too many people who didn't take it seriously. I felt like didn't take it seriously. Like they're just like, oh no, they're fans, but they just have a different way of looking at it, or some people seem to act like it didn't exist. And that was upsetting because I was like, this is bad behavior. This is not okay. Attacking like not just members on something, but attacking other people in the fandom over this kind of stuff is just not okay. So I was reluctant. I was reluctant to get into A-Teeny or stay as far as like interacting with the fandom as a whole. Um But now that I am, even in a limited way, um, these are my thoughts on it. So we'll see what happens. But I do not see those people causing those kinds of trouble, like this kind of trouble. I do not see them as fans. I see them as people trolling others, people causing harm against others, not just the group, but just people in the fandom in general. Um, they're there to hurt others. They're not there to actually care about what's going on with the group or people who support them. So I really wish people would not call them fans, like call them what they are. They are trolls. They are antis. Antis are not fans. I will stand on that. They're not fans. They will gush over or obsess over one particular idol or group, but then they're like anti everything else. It means you're anti even your own group or idol because they, as I said, like they want them all to succeed. Whether you gravitate to one group or another or an idol or another, wanting them all to succeed, that's just the basic. That is the ground level right there. So to be an anti, I think is just you are against it all, and you're just obsessing over a particular type of idol group. So these antis and trolls, like they're not fans. They're causing issues, and we need to call them out, and we need to protect the space. Um, you might not be as obnoxious as me about it, um, but I want people to be aware. I want people to be aware, to pay attention to that kind of stuff, to not fall for the rage bait. But yeah, I hope that the rest of the tour goes really well for the whole entire group. Um, I I feel like depending on the environment, depending on the move, yeah, Felix is going to alter something. But maybe the group itself is going to alter too, because they work as one unit. So, I mean, it's not just on Felix. It's not just on him to like limit stuff. They might all limit it. I can see them doing that, because they are a family and they're there to support each other. So that's my opinion personally, but I think that he's going to be okay. I'm really glad for that post from the company. It just, for me, it made me feel like he's actually being taken care of. He's actually being taken care of, not just like, I know that he's going to be taken care of by his group, by his family, but the company is also taking this seriously and not just like, oh, go rest. No, they're working with him. And that actually makes me so happy to see, because not everyone gets that. And it's wonderful to see. I just love it. So, okay, those are my thoughts. I pushed myself long enough to get all this out. I know it's a long video. They're always long. Um, if you've not seen any of my other videos, they're like all super long. I am a talker. I am a chatterbox. Not all the time, but in these videos, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I will the last video I said that my next video is going to be me coloring my artwork. I'm going to take a break from that because I'm not feeling well. So this is the next video, and then hopefully the one after that is me actually coloring. And I'm probably going to get a base done for the hair, for the picture first. So I'm not doing the entire thing on video, and it's not going to be as long as the other video, because the other video is pretty long. It's like almost 2 hours. So I'm going to try not to have it to almost 2 hours. But all right. So whenever I see you again and talk to you, I'll talk to you. So bye.